Right, what I'm trying to do here is fit a hat to my figure, but as you can see it protrudes through the brim and the top of the hat. It's a conforming hat, so it's fit itself in position, but what I've done is I've changed the where are we? Transforms, generals, scale, general, miscellaneous. What I've done is I've changed under the miscellaneous parameters of the hat. It's normally set to redirect transforms, but if you change auto follow transforms, what this lets you do is move the hat into a different position. So what I've done is I've enabled the timeline on Daz, and it's just on its default 30-second duration, but I went to the end frame and I clicked on the plus key whilst having the hat selected in the scene browser. What this does is it adds a keyframe for the final position to say that's where the hat wants to end up. And then scroll into the start of the animation. I lifted the hat out of the way, probably too far actually. All I did for this was there's a translation in the Y direction, and there's a translation in the X in this one just to make it shift across a bit. The idea is you want the hat during the animation to come straight down on the head, because what I want to try and do is compress the hair underneath the hat so that it doesn't stick up. You can edit the geometry of the hair and just remove anything that sticks out, but it'd look a bit odd under the brim where you can see the hair goes through the brim. You really want it to push inwards at the top of the head, make the hair conform to the hat as it were. So make sure your hat is visible in the simulation. It normally is, but just to make sure it is. Set up these keyframes for your hat on the timeline so that it starts pulled away from the head, because what you want to do is make it so that as you render the frames in the animation, the hair pushes out of the way. And then in your simulation settings, you're not starting the bones from a memorized pose. You want it to start at this pose, but you're going to render the frames to simulate animated. Normally you'd use current frame, but if you go animated using the timeline play range, what it will do is it will render each stage of the simulation to a separate frame. You don't need all the frames, but it means you've then got your hat moving with you. So normally you can see the hat sticks through quite a bit. So if we were now simulate this, takes a while. Still setting up. There we go. Now you can see it's begun the animation with the hat in the start position. I meant to say you should have moved the hat to its position and clicked on the plus key option again, just to create that keyframe just for the hat. if you've looked into animation before, you'll know about this, but whatever you add a keyframe to, that's where it will start in that frame. So as it goes through the steps, you can see it's now onto the first second. It's a 30-second duration animation. So each second of the render of the animation, it'll transform the hat back from where I've put it to where it should be in the final frame. So in this instance, it's slowly moving downwards. It's done 2 frames in 1:20. And this is executing mainly on the CPU. The GPU is partially in use, so it's very CPU intensive. The hair I'm using is dForce-enabled. It's taken slightly less time than I estimated. Just going up to 13 minutes. It's done fairly well on the hair. It's a strand-based hair rather than what's the alternative? No, not a filament hair. It's just strips. That's it. It's a strip-based hair, so it's lower polygon than a lot of them. If you're going to go for more complex hair, you take a lot longer to simulate. So that's finished. That's finished, and it's got each frame of the simulation stored away. So you see the hair drips under gravity, the hat comes down and pushes it out of the way slightly. Now if I turn the hat off, make it invisible, you can see she's got hat hair. So it comes around and then bevels outwards. So it looks like it's done the job. Let's just have a look at an eye ray. Look better. So there we go. Hat hair. Now obviously to make that look correct with a hat on, what we need to do is edit the geometry of the hair. So go back to the hair, go to Tool Settings, Geometry Editor, just position the view, let's put it back on filament view for speed. Most of the hair's out of the way. There's a little tuft at the back, a few strands at the front and a little bit on the top. For most of my angles that's going to be fine. So let's right click, geometry selection, let's have a look. Selection mode, I'm going to make sure it's on lasso. What that's going to let us do is, I've put it at the right angle, I can draw a lasso around there, and that should select what I don't want to see. It's left a bit. Let's try that again. It's not selecting everything that I want there. Let's hide what it has got. So hide the selected polygons. Let's change the selection mode to marquee selection. No, that's really not letting me pick it, is it? That is. Clicking on it. I'm holding control to pick multiple. Go to the right click in geometry visibility, hide selected. Pick those two, control click, right click, geometry visibility, hide selected. Let's go around to here, see if we can pick that one. Right click, geometry visibility, hide selected. That'll do for now. I'll get rid of the ones on the top just because we can. Selection mode back to lasso. Select that. Oops, picked too much there. Let's try that. Right click, visibility, hide selected. That'll do. Now, oops, that's taking a big bold patch on the back, but we'll ignore that for now. Go back to my normal camera view I'm doing for this shot. You can see the hairs looking alright. So from this angle, it looks correct and natural. And that is how I've made my dForce hair fit a hat.